There are three reasons you should consider supporting this project. The first is that it'll allow us to get back into print for the first time in a quarter of a century, one of the great works of role-playing game design. The second is it will serve as a monument to a great and talented writer and designer. And the third is that it's a heck of a great setting. And now to tell you more about it, some of my friends and colleagues.
I believe Strike Force is one of the most important supplements in the overall history of role playing games.
Strike Force is an important book because it was the first time that a game master had really explained how he had successfully run a superhero campaign.
And the metaphor I always use is for somebody to watch Casablanca today. Here it is 70 years later, somebody sits down to watch Casablanca for the first time, and they can't really understand what the big deal is. Oh, that was a perfectly lovely movie, but really it was just one long set of cliches. And that's the reaction that you sometimes get when you ask somebody today, 25, 30 years later, to sit down and read Strike Force. They're like, well, that was kind of nice. Yeah, but I've read all that before. Yeah, you've read all that before because it was in Aaron's book first.
I first encountered Strike Force nearly 20 years ago on the shelf of my local game store. I recall being blown away by its content and immediately adopted many of its ideas for use in our own Champions campaigns. I think the ideas it presented hold up as well now as they did back then, and the book is almost certainly a must for any game master's library, of course, provided you can find it. This is why I'm honored to be part of this team, and I'm extremely excited to be bringing this updated version of Aaron's campaign world to the superhero gaming community and to you, our backers.
Strike Force was really the first book to not only tell me how to structure a campaign, but also to help guide me through that process and understand that it was more than just putting together a good story and a collection of plot points, but understanding how to engage and play to the table, how to get your players involved, not just at the table, but outside the table.
I mean, of the many things that are amazing about Strike Force and about Aaron's work for it was that he did, in fact, generally invent or, shape the use of actual play that's, become recognized today as a vital part of learning about games and of learning how to be a GM, how to be a player, how to work together to create a campaign and take into account the actual, not like the idealized space of an RPG for this, but what actually happened in practice.
And the book turned out to be a gem. The advice on running a campaign was fantastic, and it especially showed me how a campaign can be dynamic,